So, what's up, my man? How you doing?
Doing good, man. Feeling good. How are you?
Good, good. We're just going to get right into first check-in of the 4 free months that you got for training.
Yeah.
So, first check-in, we've had a little bit of a technical difficulty as far as the feedback form and all that stuff, and that's a little bit of an extra curveball, but it's hiccups, and we're going to end up having a couple of those in the start of this anyway, so that's not really, I'm not going to make that big of a deal over that because, I mean, honestly, your subjective feedback is going to be more important right now as we're talking face-to-face anyways. But going forward, having all of it available prior to is going to be really, really helpful for me so that I can just make it not at all.
Yeah, like I said, man, next time that won't be an issue. I don't know if that was just dumb, but we took care of it.
Yep. So just to get into it then, how was your sleep?
Sleep's been good. It's been consistent. I'm getting 8 hours in just about every night. Definitely good there.
What time are you getting to sleep?
I'm usually falling asleep between 10 and 10:45. That's usually the window.
Okay, perfect. All right, no problems there then. You got all 3 cardio sessions done this week?
I did. So the only thing that was because of the timing of when everything got sent to me and how long it took me to get the diet implemented, the only thing was I just finished the week 1 on Sunday, so I had to take a rest day. So I don't know if that counts as behind or not, but I'll be on track this week.
All right, perfect. That's totally fine. That works. With the timing as it was, that's not a problem.
Yeah, okay. I just missed Monday. It was a wash last week, so that's all it was.
Hold on here. Sweet Jesus. My apologies. Unexpected interruption.
It happens.
Yep. So, cardio has been done. Sleep has been good. What's the weight trend look like?
So I started at 180. I was in like 183, 182 when we first started, and then my first weigh-in of the morning was officially, I have my phone, 182. And right now I'm down to waking up this morning. I was 178.1.
Nice.
So.
Nice. All right.
Feeling a little light, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's moving. Perfect. How you feeling? You feeling okay? Like you're not sapped for energy or anything happening?
No.
Gym performance drop off?
No, the first day of the diet, I was starving after the first 2 meals, but that has completely gone away. I think it's just because my body's so used to early carbs because I've been doing like oatmeal and like bananas in the morning. So when there was no carbs, that was a nice transition for a day, but I'm good now.
Good. All right. Sweet. That's a good start then. Honestly, as far as that's concerned then, no diet changes need to be made. No diet changes should be made. If you're making that much of a change already with the initial adjustments, we're just going to ride it as far as we can until the rate of loss starts to slow down. So we're just going to sit with what that is right now. You can get comfortable with being in the place that you are. We're going to continue forward. So your training performance has been good?
It's been good. I mean, the one thing that sucks, and I mean, this was kind of unrelated, was, with COVID, I didn't have access to like barbells for like 3 months. So I like almost felt like awkward and like kind of like unstable in the movement. So I had to go down in weight, but that I don't think is anything related to the diet at all. I think that's just, I didn't work with barbells for a few months there. So yeah. So like I said, that was the only awkward hiccup. And I don't think that has anything to do with what we're doing. I think that's just getting back in the swing of things.
Okay, gotcha. Have you been doing okay with all the extra cues and all the nuances of the program that I gave you?
Yeah. The one thing that was a hiccup was I don't personally have bands, and my gym for some reason thinks that there's a COVID issue, so they're not letting us use theirs. So I want to buy some. I just have no experience and don't know. I mean, I've seen you with a million bands, to be honest with you, man. So If you got a code for me, no, I'm kidding. But yeah, like, yeah, I don't know. I have no experience with that. So I've had to substitute out bands on a couple things. But they've been decent substitutes, but I'd like to just go full throttle with it and get the right stuff. So if you could shoot me something over, that'd be great.
Yeah, I can send you over a link. Your best bet, the bands that I have personally, I got them from Elite FTS. So I would go and check out their stuff. They have a whole bunch of different options. So you can get all the bands that you'd want that are all, you can get them all separate, or you can get them as a package deal and get all that you would ever need. So I got the package like 3 or 4 years ago with double blues, double grays, double orange, double red. And it was something like 200, I think, for them. Okay. And I've had them for years, and they've gone through hell, and none of them have snapped on me. So
if you haven't snapped them, I'm not going to snap them, so we'll call that a day.
Yeah, they've gotten some abuse, and they're all completely intact, so.
I've seen it, man. I saw with the reverse bandage shit you used to do. That was the best to watch.
Yep. Yeah, so those will hold on for you, and they'll last for, like, forever.
All right, perfect, yeah.
That'd be the best place to be.
Yeah, I did, like, some of the stuff I was able to do because they have, like, those, the bands with, like, the grips on each end, which aren't great. I was able to, like, weight them down, but the setup on those, it just took way too long. And I was like, dude, like, I'm not doing this every time.
Yeah. No. Just the normal circular rubber bands are always the best ones.
Yeah, so I'm going to, for some reason, they think those are an issue. Don't want to get into that, but.
Yeah, we don't have enough time to get into that.
No, we don't. But yeah, so that was with the training cues, just having to figure out a substitute for the bandage stuff, which there's, a couple things in there every day. So that's really been the only issue. Other than that, no, I mean, I've been able to figure just about everything else out and watch videos when I needed to. So yeah.
All right. So if you have any specific questions about any of those replacements or anything, you could always hit me on WhatsApp and make sure that, like, what you do replace it with is something that we can make sure is approved. If it's just the closest analog that you could possibly find, totally okay with that. Okay?
And, yeah, one other thing, too, I forgot I had it written down, which you had it written in anyways, but my gym doesn't have a hack squat, so I did a Smith squat, or the Smith hack squat, like the feet forward.
That can work. Do you have any other leg equipment? Other than
not like a... We have like with leg press. There's like the basic machine leg press, and then like the normal where you load with plates, and then that was it. And so I guess Smith was the closest thing.
Okay, then we'll switch that out with Smith squat. Yep. Okay. We can do that.
Yeah, I was bummed about that, but
I'll make a note for that. All the prep movements you've been learning those pretty quick?
Yeah, that's honestly been my favorite part, as dumb as it sounds, because that's the one thing I knew I didn't do enough back in the day, was the preparatory movements, like warming up, and like I've been feeling a lot better in the lifts once we get into them doing all that. So that's been the best change for me so far.
Sweet. Great to hear.
Yeah.
Great to hear. Of course, obviously with those two, there's a lot going on with those. So if you need anything, I recommend that you take video, you send it, and then I will give you as many cues as possible to build up your ability to do them well. Just going by the cues that I have there are a good start, but there's some little tiny things that might get missed.
Yeah. I did have a couple little things, but I didn't want to be that guy to hit you up too much, so I kind of want to wait for our first check-in before I blew you up with questions, because I'm sure you get hit a lot. So
yeah, you can hit me with a couple. I'll give you 5 minutes right now for that. And then
No, you're good. I don't actually have them. They're in my notes, but as they come up, I mean, I wanted to talk before I brought them up. That's all.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. You can, at any point, send those over WhatsApp, and I will give you the answers. Or on Saturday, if you're able to make it to our Q&A calls, Saturdays at noon, that would be the perfect time, because you can ask all of your questions there, and then I will give you a long-winded, totally satisfactory answer.
Okay.
So, and it'll be an opportunity for you to meet everybody else, and it'll also be something that everybody else can learn a little something too. with you having asked a question that they might be thinking or haven't quite articulated it the same way as you.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah, I'll make a note of that, and yeah, I plan on being on the next one, so that'll be a good time to bring it up.
Sweet. All right, so overall, things are going really well. We're moving in the right direction. Training's going good. The weight trend is going well. You don't feel like you're dying because of the diet or the cardio. Everything's just cruising along, and we're going in the right way.
Yeah. The one thing I wanted to ask you about the cardio was, there's been, with like my schedule, I was able to get them all in last week, but I'm thinking it may be easier to get one session of the 3 a week at least in the morning or towards the morning. So just genuinely asking, not to like, should I not be doing it fasted? Would you prefer I got a couple meals in beforehand? What's, your thought on optimal? And if it's on a training day, would you rather I did it in the morning or right after training?
Bottom line, wherever you can get it in.
Okay.
Okay, if there's one way that you can always make sure that it gets done, then do it that way. Because really what matters at the end of the day is that it got done.
Okay.
But if anything, it would be more ideal to have it split further away from your training time. So if you do it like fasted in the morning, there's nothing like super special about being fasted in the first place. But if it just makes sure that you got it done, and it's also like 6 hours away at least from your training session, then that will be ideal. You're going to get the least amount of the concurrent training effect. You won't have as much of a performance decrement from it and things of that nature. So, and if not that, then my secondary recommendation would be to try and get it done post-lift or just on the rest days. Yeah.
That's what I did last week, was just on the rest days, but I just see a timing error this week where I'm probably going to have to do one cardio session on the same day I train. So
okay.
Making sure I get that in. And then I did want to ask regarding the meals, because I'm training consistently every day at about 4:30 on the days I am. So by then, is there an ideal amount of the meals you want me to have in before that?
I would like you to have 3.
Okay. Would 3 or 4 be better, or does it matter?
It doesn't matter as long as you got 3.
Okay. I've been consistently getting actually 4 in beforehand. I didn't know if that was too much or not.
Nope, that's not too much.
Okay.
Nope, that's fine.
Okay.
However it is that you're going to be consistent, get all the food in, and you're going to perform well. That's it.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, it's been 4, so I just wanted to double check on that.
Yep, that works out.
Perfect.
All right, is that everything?
Yeah, I'm looking at my notes. I think that's everything I had. Yeah, that was it. There was only one instance where I had to use a protein shake to get the protein in. Other than that, I've been consistently just doing food.
Sweet.
Yeah, wasn't trying to, but time was the only allotment for that day. But other than that, it's just been food.
It happens. It happens. That's what protein shakes are good for.
Yeah.
Convenience.
That's about it.
All right. Well, we're going to have to cap this one off. That's first check-in. Done. Overview. Nothing changes. We just keep going forward with exactly the plan as it is.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that's going to change is you're going to make sure to keep me in the loop and make sure to communicate, and don't be afraid to communicate.
Yeah. That's the way we're going forward. And I got to get those bands in, so I'll probably try and order those today at some point.
Sweet. Sweet. The earlier the better, and you're definitely not going to regret having them. Once you put in for them and they're actually on their way, you're going to feel a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
That, and I would probably get some set of daisy chains and some big carabiners, too.
Okay.
Because those will be helpful for setting up a handful of things. So
daisy chains and what?
Huh?
You said daisy chains and what?
Large carabiners.
Gotcha.
So they're just the big, like basically just the gym clips that you would like hook the attachments to.
Mm-hmm.
Having some big carabiners and the daisy chains, it'll help you. So like setting bands up is one thing if you just tie them off, but sometimes logistically it just doesn't end up working perfectly that way.
Mm-hmm.
So having daisy chains so that you can set those things up and kind of taper the distance away from whatever implement you're tying it to, things like that, it can be helpful.
Okay. Perfect. Yeah, I'll make a note of that and I'll get those.
All right. Well, man, that's it for this one.
Good speaking to you.
Yeah, you as well. All right. We will catch you and everybody else next week.
Perfect. And then we have this recurring call every Wednesday?
Yep, same time.
All right, sounds good. I'll make a note of that.
All right. Sweet. Hey, Dan, how you doing?
Hey.
So, how's your week been?
It's been good. Definitely different. Like, the workouts is just, it's something different. I'm telling you, like, the whole controlling weight versus, like, just being used to just, hey, let me just get in there and, like, push weight around, pull weight around is completely different. The way I'm sore is completely different than I've ever been sore before. So before I'm kind of used to, like, okay, like, the muscle's sore, I feel sore, whatever. But now it's kind of like, it doesn't matter what day of the week it is, like, my core is sore, my glutes are sore, like, my hamstrings have stayed sore. And then everything else is kind of like, okay, like, I'm starting to get the hang of it. But, like, I see what you mean now with the whole warm-ups. Like, you sent me the videos in the morning, and I was like, well, last night, but I downloaded them in the morning. So now I understand, like, kind of like what you're trying to get at, because I'm not by no means no expert on the muscle groups and not even the names of each muscle. And you're, like, describing each muscle, oh, contract this muscle right after, but focus on this other muscle. I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
I gotcha.
Like, unless you break it down, you have to dumb it down for me. Yeah.
I gotcha. Don't be afraid to tell me that I have to dumb it down either.
Yeah, like, but other than that, like, the food's been good. Since we started, I want to say I started at 244 and some change, and right now, like, I woke up, like, today I was right under 236. So I think it was like 235.8 or something like that.
Yeah.
Yesterday,
that's just about 10 pounds.
Yeah, I know. Like, even my wife noticed, like, hey, your face is, like, skinnier, like, and it's also been a lot because, one, I'm not going to tell you I ate 100% like what you told me, because I even put it on the sheet. I was like, I know how I am, and I'm kind of like a rotating, like, you know, when those light switches, but I'm like the rotating one, so I have to, like, get there before the light stays on. Like, I know I can't just switch it on. If I switch it on, like, and I fuck up once, I'm like, oh, I'm going to quit, you know, like, so I'm going to fail. I feel like I failed, whatever it is. But obviously I haven't dieted in a couple of years. I want to say, like, since 2016, when I used to, like, be, like, like, really was into bodybuilding and things like that. So it's been a huge adjustment. Like, so just, I want to say I've been eating, like, overall, I would say 90%. Like, so everything's been kind of good. Like, and the first day, I'm not lying, like, I couldn't even eat, like, just, for that breakfast would not go down. And then now I'm to the point that, okay, like, now I'm hungry in between meals. Right before bed, like, I honestly, like last night I was hungry, so I just, like, got like a handful of cashews, and I just had that. 'Cause I was like, I don't want to eat, like, a bad snack either, but I was like, okay, I'm like hungry, and I don't want to like not eat nothing, be starving, and then binge in the morning. So I did that. Other than that, let me see. There was other things I wanted to say. Okay, so another question that I did have for you is there any way that, like, so the snack meal, that one has, like, pretty much the whey protein, bananas, strawberries, peanut butter, and oatmeal. So what I did this morning and then yesterday too, and I want to kind of just confirm it with you, like, if it's okay. If it's not, then it's completely fine. So what I did that for breakfast, because in the morning I'm not hungry at all. I have no appetite, but it makes it easy if I can just blend it and drink it. It's like I'm just drinking it, because there's no, like, it's almost impossible for me to be able to, like, wake up or even like a couple hours into the day, like, eat chicken with, like if it was eggs, I think it'd be easier, but the whole chicken plus eggs and, like, vegetables is kind of like, it's a rough start in the morning for me. Like,
that's how this diet goes.
Yeah, but if I could drink a shake, it's like, okay, like, hey, let's get the day started, you know, like, I don't worry about eating.
Yeah, that's fine. You can make that switch for now. And like I said, the way you feel about that is going to change as you start to get hungrier.
Right.
And you're going to be wanting to have something a little bit more solid in the morning because you're going to be hungry. But
I agree.
also with grabbing the handful of cashews or something like that. Trick here. Do you like pickles?
I do. I actually used to do pickles. That was like years ago, and I had some guy named Alex Azarian coaching me. He's all like, "Hey, if you're hungry, eat a pickle."
Yep.
He's like 0 calories. Like you can eat as many pickles as you want. Like,
I wouldn't call it zero.
but yeah, it's just sodium. Like,
well, the sodium doesn't carry any of the calories. It's the pickle itself that does, but it is so low that if you literally had a hand filled of pickles and you were hungry, you're probably going to be fine after having eaten all those. You're not going to want any more food. But that was maybe, 30 calories tops?
right.
You're good.
Yeah.
Because aside from, like, cashews, if you catch yourself and you're real hungry and you decide that you want to have a healthy snack and you grab a handful of cashews,
yeah.
it might be half a can of cashews.
No,
And half a can of cashews is a bit.
No, I know, especially when it comes to like fat and all that. But for me, it was kind of like more like I don't have pickles at home, and I was like, I don't want fruit, I don't want none of that. Like, I want something before bed. Because I'm saying the first couple of days, like I was full throughout the day. Like I'm not hungry at all. Like I was like, all right, it's been about 3 hours. I should eat. For 4 hours, I should eat, but I'm not hungry. But now it's kind of the point, like especially like started doing the cardio, like so the cardio. To make it easier for me, I'm just like every other day I'm gonna do cardio, because you said 3 times a week. It's just for me it's a lot easier. Okay, for example, I like going to the gym Monday through Friday, so Monday, Wednesday, Friday, boom, cardio.
That works. That works perfect.
Just so I never miss it. And then for me, like cardio has not like ever been like an issue. Like as far as like okay, I'll go do cardio, whatever it is. But other than that, like I'm kind of like it feels good. Like definitely does. It's a lot different. Everything's different. Like. And I was honestly, like, when I was looking at the workout plan, I was like, man, like, I'm warming up probably more time than I'm actually working out. Like, and I didn't understand it, but I'm the type of person, like, hey, like, if I have somebody tell me what to do, like, let's at least play with it. Let's at least run with it. And if I don't feel like it's working, I'm not going to, like, discredit it until I fully tried it. So that's how I feel about everything. So I'm like, I'm all for it. Like, at first I was like, okay, like, I feel like I should be doing a lot more of this. I feel like I should be doing this. I'm like, you know what? I have other things to worry about. I have homework. I have, like, I started my master's program a couple weeks ago. So I'm like, you know what? Let me focus on that. Hey, whatever you say, like, let me go in there and bang it out of the gym. It is what it is.
Exactly. Leave all the thinking stuff to me for this. You got other things to worry about.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm glad to hear that you're liking the programming too.
Yeah.
And something to be said, and I think I mentioned this on our initial call, but that starting period when you just get working on these prep movements and everything, it is a time investment up front. Because things are awkward, you don't know exactly what you're doing, so it kind of takes you extra time. You're not like just banging through them quick.
Right.
And then it's also because it's painting the fringes of your actual capacity to do things and get into weird mechanical positions and control them. Because it's already difficult, and part of it is exposing those things that are difficult for you and then forcing you to work on them. It's harder up front at the start, and it takes more time just because it's already a difficult task, and you don't know exactly what you're doing quite yet. And as you keep doing it and you get better over time, you're going to see like more of the direct reason why it's all there and the reasons why those specific things are. And you'll notice if you were to not do them, you're going to notice where it'll start to take things out of your performance when you do train.
Right.
So,
no, I have noticed that,
all
especially
the pieces start to come together.
Yeah, especially with like the videos you sent me, like, because at first I was like, I've never heard of, like, honestly, 80% of the things, the warm-ups, I've never heard of them before. So it was like, I would Google them, and I was kind of like, okay, I'm trying to imitate this for the first time, but like, it's not really like, I'm not gonna, like, most of the stuff is kind of like, it has to do with like yoga and stuff like that. So I have like this girl telling me like, oh, you should do it like this and like this and like this. But it's like, and then you give me your feedback. I'm like, man, like, how am I supposed to do this? That's why I asked for the video. I was like, because a lot of your workouts, like, whenever I see them on Instagram, I can see your tempo, or like I can see what you're trying to tell me to do, you know. But some of the warm-ups is kind of, oh, that's brand new to me. Never seen it before. Never seen nobody do it.
Yep, all that prep stuff I don't put on usually, for the reason that it's kind of like it's not as flashy. It's not the flashy fun work. Can you hear me?
Right. You know, yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Like you have pros for a little bit.
Okay. Not the flashy fun work, but it is the work, and it does help. It's a huge, huge contributing factor to trying to actually keep on progressing in the weight room and not having huge glaring issues that just like over-consume you and then start limiting away all the things that you should be able to do.
Right.
Which is really what it's best for, is like it's putting a bolster in the way of you having bigger issues down the road and then trying to get you better at doing everything you already do. So I'm glad you like it, and I'm glad you're getting along very well.
And not just that, but like I was able to so I was like looking at pictures, the ones that I submitted like a week and a half ago for the contest versus like kind of like what I'm looking at this morning. And I was like, wow, that's crazy. Like, and it's crazy what 1 week can do, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I was just actually like trying to do something different.
Yep. You're doing the thing, man. You're doing really good. You're doing really good. And I'm really excited to see what's going to happen in a couple of weeks. We get this kind of turnaround on week 1.
Yeah.
We're going to see some cool stuff.
Yeah, like, and I was yeah. Hold on, you're kind of cutting it off.
Yeah, I'm moving you a little bit too.
All right, better right there?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay. For some reason, like, just to, like, different corners of the room, like, upstairs is just different. But, I was telling my wife, I was like, man, like, you know what, like, I kind of would like to get back into bodybuilding. I'm like, I used to enjoy it. I used to love it. Like, it's just kind of like life things just kind of came in the way, and I had to change my priorities for a bit. But I was like, I would like to see what I can do. But obviously, like, being in the military, like, my last command where I was at before, I used PEDs. Cool, you know what I'm saying? Like, I knew everybody. I knew how everything worked. I knew the politics and the command, the way it was structured and everything like that. But right now, like, I'm way out of, like, where I'm normally at. Like, I'm actually, like, with people in the medical field. So it's kind of like, for them, it's like a big no-no. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. So over here, it's kind of like a big no-no. So it's kind of like, I get out next year. I'm like, okay, so, like, let me see what I can do with just literally on TRT. Let me see what I can do. And then once I get out, like, let's see what I can do after that. You know, like let me climb this mountain, and I'll climb the next one. So I'll just see where it goes, you know? And, like, honestly, like, I was telling you, like, when I wrote you, I was like, hey, like, literally just, like, looking at, like, you prepping. Obviously, there was a big-time show this past weekend, like, and following, like, different bodybuilders, like, on social media that just, like, are getting ready for, like, let's say for nationals. I'm like, man, like, I want to get back into this, you know? So, yeah.
You got the itch. Gotcha. Yeah, over this next year that you do have left that you're running off of TRT, there's going to be nothing in our way. Nothing. You're going to be totally fine. There's going to be no issues as far as that's concerned with what the size you already have, and then looking at what your potential to grow is just from the things that we have to work with in your training. It doesn't matter if we blasted you filled with shit or we used literally nothing ever, and you were even hypogonadal and just stopped with the TRT.
Right.
I guarantee we're going to see some crazy shit come out of you in the next couple of months, and then in a year from now, who even knows? Who even knows? So seriously, I have a lot of belief in where this can go.
Yeah, me too.
Like, you won the competitor spot for a reason. You won it. Yeah. So we're gonna do some cool stuff with this over the next year. So anyway, I think that's gonna be it for this one. So overall, I have no changes for you.
Okay.
Diet will stay exactly the way it is, other than you can make the switch with the snack and the meal one.
Okay.
You can make that switch. That's totally fine. Get yourself some pickles.
Yeah, I definitely need that. I'm telling you, the morning is rough for me. Like, but at the same time, like, I have a period of time where it's like kind of like it's hard for me to like actually get a meal in because like that's when I like have my busy work at work. So it's kind of like, okay, like I need to get something in the morning so that like the shake has actually like helped me a lot. Like, especially 'cause I go to the gym like first thing in the morning, knock it out.
Mm-hmm. Yep, perfect. And that snack meal is actually going to be pretty good as a post as well. So that will work out totally perfect. Did you have any specific questions that you wanted to ask me?
No, I mean, like, my major questions were pretty much the videos that you sent over. Like, that's what I needed. Like, I just need to understand like, what you mean with all these, like, big-time words that I have no idea what they mean or where that part of the body's at.
I gotcha. Yep. Yeah. For any of those things, always just stop me and go like, hey, dude, chill. Yeah. What is that word? What does that mean? Point me to where I'm going.
Yeah.
Seriously, just say it. You don't have to, like, just kind of go with it and try to figure it out on your own. Because I can explain it down a level, but what happens is, like, I mean, I'm sure you're in the military. You guys have vernacular with the way that you speak to each other, and it's just kind of like the way that you guys talk. And if somebody that's completely uninitiated on the outside knows nothing, hears a conversation between two people that have been in the military for a while, it's just like, that's not English. That's not, I don't know what that is.
That's why I told you, I was like, hey, like, if you could dumb me down and, like, just be straight up with me. Like, I have thick skin. I've been in almost 10 years, and nothing phases me really at this point. Like, I prefer the honesty because it makes me want to make changes. But if somebody kind of, let me just tell him what he wants to hear, it's kind of like, okay, I'm never gonna fucking learn like that, you know?
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, that's a huge part of this process is both of us learning each other and making sure that we're doing our job to make each other's lives easy.
Right.
All right?
Yeah, definitely.
All right. So we're going to close it off here. So thank you to you and thank you to everybody else for watching. All right. Recording.
Perfect.
So, Calvin.
Nick.
How's this going?
It's going good. I think I was a little caught off guard, more than I thought I would be, just given that it's a totally different approach to programming that I've ever done personally. I think one of the main things I noticed over the past 2 days was I always kind of thought of training as specific movements, let's say, or exercises. You either kind of know how to do it or not, and then beyond that, you're approaching it with whatever intensity you're bringing. Didn't quite think of it as much of a skill that can be improved, and in my case can be improved a lot, certain things. So that was the big takeaway I've kind of realized so far.
Gotcha. Well, that's good to hear. So, like, we talked a little bit just prior to this, and I mentioned the prep movements and things like that. How are you getting along with all of that now?
Good. Originally, I didn't see the cue box, so that was the main thing. I do find every now and then there's one or two movements where I read the cue box and it's still a little fuzzy. I don't know if you saw, but I messaged the team in the team group chat this morning and just trying to bounce some ideas off people, so that's helping. For the most part, I do understand them from the cue box. But again, some of them are just movements that I've never done or mobility drills I've never done before, so it is new to me.
You're learning, and you're picking up pretty quick too. So
awesome.
I've been happy with the feedback that you've been sending to me.
Okay.
It's been really good to have, like, you're communicating the way that you should be, and you're not sending across like anything that's redundant. You're getting to the point. You're just making it very clear what you need so that I can help as quickly and most succinctly as possible. So it's appreciated. You're doing good stuff. And
awesome, man.
to confirm what you asked the group, that band internal-external rotation, you set up a band behind your shoulder.
Yep.
Okay? Behind your shoulder on a post or something that doesn't move. Okay?
Yep.
So you start with the internal rotation, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you have the band in your hand, and it's going underneath your arm.
Okay.
Okay? You set up, tall position, pack your rib cage down, get yourself set your shoulders. Now, nothing moves now. Everything stays stationary except for the shoulder joint. Scap stays where it is, shoulder joint moves. So from here, you have the band down here, so it's trying to pull you back, and it's trying to pull you down like this. So you use the resistance to help you, okay? So you draw back like you're doing a row or you're at the bottom of a press. Draw it back to keep your shoulders where they are, and then allow the band to help you turn your hand down.
Gotcha.
Okay? And then you resist back up to normal. You let it pull yourself down, and as you're getting further and further into this range, you want to try and use the band as something to help you and contract down into it. So try to use your own contraction to force your arm a little lower without anything moving but the shoulder in the socket. Okay?
Yep.
Using a band to assist. And then once you've done the handful of reps that you do for that, you get the band on the other side so it's going over your arm this way behind you. And then what the band wants to do is pull you back and turn you up like this.
Yep.
Okay? So you just do the other half of the motion the same way. You lock your shoulders down. You don't let anything flare. You set your shoulder where it is. You let the band help you to turn into external rotation. And then you use the band to help contract into it, control your position, and then draw back to internal rotation to neutral. Then you go with the same thing.
I was so close. I had half of it. I had the top, didn't have the bottom. So that clarifies that. Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. So as far as everything else goes, training has gone well. Anything that you want to ask or make note of specifically about the training aside from the prep movements and all that?
Yeah, one thing that I was curious about was, so I was looking down and I can see that training with the reps in reserve column over the weeks it goes down to 2 reps, 1 rep, and then no rep, which I assume would be failure. If I'm doing that every week, does that not make it harder to track progress within given movements?
In a way, it can. In a way.
Right.
But what we're working with is trying to extend the progressive runway.
Okay.
So already to start with, you're going to have a little bit of a hard time figuring out weight selections with all of the other things that I have in place as constraints and parameters for your exercises. Yeah. And you just relearning patterns a little bit better and trying to get used to the whole structure in itself. Yeah. So there's going to be, even if I gave you an RIR 0, so failure on every set, from the start, you're still going to have some things that just like you're going to choose the wrong weight for whatever intensity. Like you're just not going to hit your rep targets quite perfect. And so there's all these things, but then if it's all to failure, you run the risk of possibly just pushing it too far off the start. And you don't exactly, you approach the cliff real quickly that way, which is not always a problem. And actually a lot of my programming ends up following that type of approach where the limit is set, the limiting parameter is set by intensity. So your ability to create intensity within the sets is what is the limiter to how much volume you can use.
Okay.
It's the limiter to everything else. But I'm taking this a step further back. Well, I don't have an escalating set volume for you. I really don't think I've put that in place for you yet, although that's not something that I will keep out.
Okay.
So the way that I have the program structured is once I've written it, it doesn't stay written. Once I've written it, it gets adjusted over time as we see the needs change. Mm-hmm. Okay? So for right now, instead of going right in with everything's to failure, everything's balls to the wall, figure it out, and then we're looking at like we're walking towards the cliff blindly, and we don't know where it is because you don't exactly know your movement efficiency. You don't exactly know how much you can recover from with the current constraints and parameters I've set. So if we pull it back just slightly and have you be a little bit more controlled and a little bit more paced as you're going through the learning process of getting better at doing all these things and doing it all as a complete structure, then at the same time, you're also planning on escalating your intensity. Intensity being your effort level. And then as that goes up, you're already naturally going to be better at doing all the things, so your ability to be more intense with it is going to go up, and your allotment for intensity is going to go up because your RIR goes down. So it's going to be like a natural progression, and more or less you're going to end up following that kind of structure regardless, even if I were to have given you failure on everything.
Gotcha.
Because things are just going to be a little bit inaccurate to start with, and then it'll just hone itself in over time.
Awesome. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, man, I'll be honest, my ego took a bit of a hit this week so far. Just coming into it with a different approach and then misjudging things and not hitting rep ranges, getting awkward. So I think I just need to take kind of a step back and maybe for a week, if anything, maybe go too light rather than too heavy constantly and rather just, like you said, hit things the way I'm supposed to be hitting them and create space for progression. So.
There you go. Yep. That's always going to be the way that I would nudge you. Okay? So even on an acute basis, if you're looking at like on the day, and you're looking at you have 2 sets to make this thing happen, that's all you got. I would prefer you to think about, okay, last time I hit the rep target. I hit the top of the range, and I was good. If I try to go up, I may hit within the range. I'll be on the lower end of the range. That's fine. But then think about how big of a jump you can make. If you were benching, I don't know, if you were benching 315, and that was the number, and you could get it for 8, and that was the highest, and you know that if you went to 325, you could probably get it for 6. You stay within the rep target. That's a conservative jump. That'd be fine. But then if you thought about, I just want to go to 335, or let's just put a half on there. Let's go to 365 and just see what we can do. Then all likelihood, you're going to drop below what your actual rep target is, and then you've thrown away a good progressive set within the range, within the parameters of the main structure that we built. You're going to be throwing away a good opportunity for that progressive runway to be ran on.
Yeah.
And that will end up, instead of being a progressive method, of being able to see like how much load you can move, you're going to end up just burning yourself because you went too high on the intensity to start with, and then you're not going to be able to recover quite well. And then the next subsequent sessions might be impacted negatively because you overdid it.
Yeah. Okay.
So looking at it always as a long-term, like what is the progressive runway going to look like if I make a bad decision? Always think about acutely, what can I do to make all of these sets the most worthwhile? That is main target. And then after you've considered that, all the other extraneous things that you might be considering, you can kind of throw out the window, because if they don't follow what makes today as good as today's going to be, and what makes today the best for my overall progression, if it's not fitting those two things, you can get it out of your head.
Okay.
Okay?
Well, that makes sense. I never thought of it like that, so awesome.
I'm glad I can help expand the understanding. Okay, is there anything else about the training specifically you wanted to bring up? You wanted to say anything? Ask questions?
Just one more quick thing. In the situation, like, I don't know if you noticed on Monday, I had paused leg press, and the gym I was at had a pause the pivot leg press, which is slightly different. How big of a deal would that be? Kind of thing.
Not a big deal.
That's okay?
No big deal.
Okay, cool. Because I'm kind of jumping around here because a lot of the gyms here in Toronto have like 45-minute lineups. So I'm picking and choosing the gyms that don't, so trying to get around that.
Yeah, that works fine. That's not a problem at all.
Okay.
All right.
Awesome. Cool. Well, with that said, man, I don't really have any more questions. As we know, I'm only 2 days into this, right? Today's day 3. I haven't even gone through a week training cycle yet. So yeah, I don't have too many more questions. It's just I'm ready to get more accustomed to this and make improvements.
All right. So something I want to make note of from your feedback is I want you to be focusing on getting your sleep timing pulled back a little bit.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So you got a 12:30 a.m. and a 12:15 here. At the very latest, I don't want to see anything past 12.
Okay.
Okay. So for people that are like night owls, and I get it because I'm kind of the same, I have a difficult time getting to bed at a reasonable hour, but we can all do it as long as there's no like specific life constraint that keeps us up, like work or something.
Mm-hmm.
Try to peel that back to towards 11:30. 11:30 is a good time. If you can get it back earlier, even better. But first target, I want to see 11:30 as your lights out time.
I can do that.
Okay, perfect. And yeah, like you said, this is the first couple of days. So like we're not going to be looking for body comp changes yet. It's obviously not enough time to see any of that. The weight trend is not going to really give us anything for right now. We don't have all that much to go on as far as that's concerned. So really all we're looking at is your consistency, your ability to adopt the training method, and just how you're generally get along with everything. And from what you're saying, it seems like everything's running pretty well.
So far, so good.
So far, so good. That's good enough for 2 days in.
Awesome.
All right. So as far as that's all concerned, man, I can't really make any changes on 2 days in. So this is our first check-in, done and dusted. Is there anything that you want to say as closing?
No, man, just good luck. I know you're in prep, and I know your schedule's crazy busy, so I hope my messages and stuff every day aren't taking away from that too much, and I appreciate how fast you're getting back to everything and the feedback, so thank you.
Well, I do my best, man. Job's a job, you know? Got to do the work.
You're killing it, man.
Got to do the work. So, all right, man. I appreciate you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for doing the work. Thank you for getting on the feedback form and doing everything you had to do there. And I appreciate you following along and making sure that you're doing your due diligence to be the best client that you can be, because you're putting in good work, putting in good effort, and you're communicating, and that's important. So I'm really happy with what you're doing so far. Let's just keep it going.
Awesome, man. Sounds good to me. Thank you so much.
All right. So that's it for me and you, and we will see everybody next time.
All right.